never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Oh yeah, you fight.
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live pre-game streaming show. Here tonight to preview the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 4 tonight against the Boston Celtics. It's been a minute, guys. We apologise that we've been away for so long, but life has got in the way. We've had holidays, we've had university exam studies, we've had illnesses, we've had just life duties have got in the way. So apologies, but thank you for bearing with us. We are back tonight. Let's introduce my guys here tonight with me. Ollie Rahimi, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, mate. Thank you very much. I'm buzzing to be back. It feels like it's been too long.
It has been too long. It has been too long. But look, and also let's remember, just trying to produce content with 3-4 hours sleep is hard, man. It's hard. Let's not underestimate that. So we've had a little recharge as well. Bilal Monar, how are you, sir?
Feels like forever, man. I'm happy to be back and I'm doing good.
It's great to have you back, guys. Yeah, and guys, a good time to be talking because a new series and a great start to the series. 2-1 up at the moment. We lead going into tonight's Game 4. A perfect response to Game 2's blowout loss at home to come back and win the way we did. We are going to recap it. But first of all, Ollie, can you believe that despite all this positive, somehow the Heat are 10-2 down in quarters? This is how it works nowadays. How has this happened?
I don't know. It's an abomination. I think I've loved basketball since I was maybe 14, 15, so over 10 years now. And I have obviously been understanding the rules completely wrong because the game is not won by who scores the most points over the course of the game. It's who wins more quarters. And I didn't know this. So this is mind-blowing for me. So yeah, the Heat have obviously lost three games in a row against Boston. We're not 2-1 up in the series. Which is a shame, really, because, like I said, we have actually got more points than them. So it's just weird. But, yeah, that's how basketball works nowadays. And, yeah, it's just completely thrown me off.
It's been wild. The timeline has been wild. There's some takes that you laugh at through this app and doing this sort of content. But that's really made me chuckle over the last 24 hours or so that, in fact, it works by quarters. Not even the fact that I think Miami Heat Beat put out that we've actually led more time. If you just take away the result, which is obviously what we're doing here, we've actually led for longer than what the Celtics have done, despite that. So that makes that stat even more wild. But yeah, crazy times. Bilal, let's come on to the win in Game 3. I mean, for me, the first 5 minutes of that game, the best 5 minutes of Miami Heat basketball I have seen this season. A massive response, a needy response, and it all stems down to obviously the aggression and the impetus put on the guy who was called out the most, Bam Adebayo. When Eric Reed calls you out, you respond, and boy, did he respond.
Yeah, it was I said it, I tweeted it. I think that was the most impressive win of the season, I think, from the Miami Heat. Just to go down how we did at home, embarrassed on our home court. We were the underdogs. Everyone, I think, had us to lose. And Bam Adebayo answered that call. And he gave us, 31? 31 and 10?
31 and 10.
Aggressive all night. He looked like he was unstoppable. In the post, face stop, everything you can imagine. He was everywhere. And I think that was the most impressive win of our season.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And I think that it wasn't even like he grew into it. It was like from the word go. I think he had 10 points after about 4 or 5 minutes. It was just, I mean, it helps when your shot is falling. Of course it does. He could have gone, 1 for 5 and suddenly your confidence hits. So it does help to get that start. But Ollie, everybody talks about this guy could be an MVP caliber player in his career if he if he shows this on a weekly or a nightly basis. Is that in his game? Has he got this? He shows us that he's got this, but is it because that maybe the game plan Spo says, look, this isn't what I'm telling him to do? You know, we've got guys that can do this in front of him, Jimmy, etc. We know that he can score more, but defensively, we know what he can do. But offensively, this is what he can do as well. And do we need to see more from it? Is it fair to be critical of that side of his game? Because he's got it in his locker.
Yeah, I think it is fair to be critical because, like you said, he is able to do it. And maybe some of that criticism stems from the times where, you know, Jimmy or Tyler or Kyle are out and Bam maybe doesn't step up. And that's the kind of time that you would want him to. I think when you've got Jimmy and Tyler and they're scoring with ease, then maybe you don't need Bam to be as aggressive on the offensive end. But especially in times when those guys are out, then you do need him to step up. And like we've said, he's got the ability to do that. One thing that I think just completely transforms him is having Kyle Lowry next to him. Yeah. We saw how important Chris Paul has been for DeAndre Ayton and his development in the league and as an offensive threat. And I think Kyle Lowry to Bam Adebayo is that same sort of level of importance because Bam's game just elevates when Kyle's there, because Kyle can feed him the ball. He can put him in spots that he wants to be in and he knows that he will do well in. And then when Kyle is out, Jimmy has to take more of the playmaking role. So does Bam. And it takes away that part of his game. So I think having Kyle back in the lineup for this, for the game 3 and going forward now, hopefully, that's a really big part of how Bam can be more offensively dominant. And hopefully we can see much more of him. Hopefully Jimmy's back tonight. Tyler's obviously out, so we need a bit more scoring. But yeah, Bam can definitely be that level. But I think he needs somebody like Kyle Lowry with him along the way to get him there.
I totally agree. And again, that was really evident in those early minutes of that game, how quickly Kyle Lowry can push the pace, etc. Bilal, we obviously are massive Gabe Vincent fans on this show. We've spoke about how brilliant he's been, his rise, it's commendable. We love him for it. But Kyle Lowry just shows you, even just in that last game, even at maybe 3/4 health, how much of a difference he makes to this team, how quickly he pushes the pace, his basketball IQ, and how he can get other guys going. What did you make of Kyle's performance last game? Sorry.
That's all we can ask for someone like Kyle. He settled us down in a really crazy atmosphere in Boston. On the road, down, well, we're tired at the moment, but we felt like we're down. But so he really calmed us down. He really got everyone into position. And against a half-court defense like Boston, he's finding us quick and easy buckets to get us early in the shot clock. And that's what we're missing. Gabe maybe doesn't have that level of presence that Kyle does in that sense. And we got so many easy buckets early on in the shot clock before they set up their defense, which was so pivotal because we won by maybe a couple possessions in the end.
Mm. Yeah, this is exactly it. I mean, we've said all season, you know, the impact that this guy has is probably our most impactful player. I don't think the record would be as good, the seeding wouldn't be as good without Kyle Lowry there. And it was such a really noticeable, even if you're a relatively casual watcher of this team, just watching that shows you what the impact that this guy makes. Ollie, you've come off mute. Do you want to say something about it?
Yeah, I just want to say, I've been saying the whole season, I think Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker have been the most invaluable players that the Heat have got. I know that they're not the headline makers. It's going to be Jimmy and Bam and Tyler, but those two are able to raise the floor of everybody around them. They're able to make everyone around them better, and to be able to have not one but two of those players on your team, that's why we're in the position that we are, and that's why we're 6 wins away from another NBA championship.
Definitely. I mean, PJ Tucker. Oh man, my heart just. I love the guy so much. But honestly, like, he's on a player option for $7 million next year. There's an argument to say he's worth double that at 37 years old. I would say pay him $15 million. That is how much he raises the floors. Exactly that. Jade is completely in agreement. So yeah, really good point to bring up there. Guys, Bilal, we was up by 26 at one point in that game. We always know there's going to be a run. That's how NBA works. That's how the playoffs work, especially when you're playing the team at home. They will always make a run. It went down to 1 point at with about 3-4 minutes to go. And then Max Strus does what Max Strus does. I mean, the guy is clutch, absolutely clutch. Honestly, I can't to settle the nerves. This guy, it's just ice runs through his veins. Another guy here, undrafted, who is now becoming one of our most important players. And we remember, guys, we as a show had said that his season was pretty much done. What, 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, and here he is becoming a match winner, pretty much. Again, we're lucky that we've got another season with him on that contract. But this guy's going to get paid because Duncan Robinson, as much as we love him and much as he's been great, he's a better player now than what Duncan Robinson is. There's no doubt about that. And you just look at it and see, this is probably the way it's going to go. He's going to get that sort of bag, isn't he?
It's looking like it. But luckily, like you said, we've got another year with him at that minimum contract. But alluding to your point, that 3-point shot was clutch. But I don't know if you guys remember, straight on the other end, he blocked up Jaylen Brown for that possession. And he got us that stop. So those 2 possessions in a row literally kind of won us that game.
Yeah, and this is for a guy who's on a minimum contract, who was undrafted. As I said, we are just, I can't speak enough of him. I think he's exceptional, and he's so important to this team and to the starting lineup. That tweak by Spo.
That improvement in his game as well, in his overall game. They're trying to pick on him on defense, and it's not working.
Exactly. Yeah, defensively as well. Yeah, absolutely right. He's not another Duncan Robinson. He's not Tyler Hero. He can do a job defensively. He's big. He's fast. He's athletic. He can shoot, as we know. Man, this guy has become an important player. Before we move on to tonight, one more guy I need to talk about, Oli Rahimi, is, of course, Victor Oladipo. Now, Vic wasn't even going to be playing in this game. It was only when Butler went out injured that he came in. And in that second half, 4 steals, locked up, clamped up Brown multiple times, showed you why he is every part of this rotation still. Ollie, he's probably going to get paid, but someone's going to offer him a contract. Is there any way, with him getting we own his bird rights, is there any way that we somehow match whatever this is? Because he's probably going to be offering or getting offered around that sort of maybe 9 to 10 million mark, I think. Do you offer that? Is he becoming that important now?
It's difficult. I think I said it a little while back that I thought he would spend at least a few years in Miami because it's somewhere that he always wanted to be. It's somewhere that is an organization that always wanted him to be a part of it. And I think there's still more to come from him. Like, obviously, we saw how good he was in that game, especially. And, you know, if you're just going to look at the box score, if you're going to look at the stats plainly, he didn't get a lot of points. It was maybe, 4 or 5 points, I think. Yeah. And, you know, on the face of it, that doesn't look very impactful. But without wanting to sound like a broken record about somebody else, he is one of the other reasons that we won that game. His defense in the second half was just elite. And he was an all-team defense. He was the NBA steals leader. He's been an all-star. That was maybe 2-3 years ago. So we're not that far detached from all-star level Victor Oladipo. And I think if there is an opportunity for him to re-sign, if there is a deal to be done, if Mickey Harrison and the front office can orchestrate something and Andy Ellisberg and stuff, then they will do it, because I think they will want to keep him. And he is a difference maker again. And like Spo said, you've now got 2 6-man of the years, basically, to come off the bench with him and Tyler. I'm assuming maybe Tyler will be in the starting lineup next season. If that is so, then that 6-man of the year award is going to be Victor Oladipo's to lose, I think. So if they can do it for around 9 or 10 million and somehow stay under the tax line, then I would do it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the reasonable number, because as much as there'll be some teams out there maybe desperate for him, he's still proving his fitness at this time. He's only come back a couple of months ago, so I don't think he's going to get like big money. And he might have a decision to make, because there might be a team that will maybe throw a few million more than that, and he'll look at it and think, well, do I take the less option but join a championship caliber team? Let's hope so. But as we say, if we can get him back next year on a sensible contract, it's completely doable, and you make that work. So just stand on him for a minute, Bilal, because Tyler Hero is out tonight. Therefore, we expect to get more Gabe Vincent minutes, more Victor Oladipo minutes. I put out a tweet earlier, and I haven't seen what the poll's doing recently, but I then said, with that in mind, who do you then say? We know it's going to be Gabe. We know it's going to be Depot. who's that sort of the next sort of combination, maybe the next one or two that you see to get these extended minutes in Hero's absence? Because we're going to need to replicate some scoring. Therefore, does Duncan Robinson get that shout? I'd expect maybe Caleb Martin. Do we see Dwayne Dedman at all tonight, or maybe just for a handful of minutes? How do you think Spo does this with Tyler out?
I still think he plays all three of them. Caleb Martin more as a Jimmy replacement. As Jimmy, we don't know what he's going to look like from his injury, so he might get more time for rest. So Caleb Martin would plug in there. I think Duncan gets a bit more spot minutes, and Dwayne Dedman, if he's doing what he does usually, if he's fouling and stuff, then it's going to get cut short. But if he's doing well, because the thing about Dwayne Dedman is you're either going to get really good minutes or really bad minutes.
Yeah.
So I do think all of them still get minutes, but it just depends on how the game's going to see how many minutes they get.
Yep, and this is where your depth matters, as we said all season. Some people say, look, it only matters when you go down to the playoffs. You're looking at an 8-man rotation. Well, the Heat are proving that, next man up, and not only that, but just in general, you can play down to 9, 10, even 11 men, and they will give you some production off of this bench. So it's been really good. I think we will see a bit of Caleb Martin, maybe more so than maybe even more so than Duncan Robinson tonight. I expect it to be. Gabe, obviously, Depot, I think will get a good role. I think then it will be mainly Caleb with the odd bit of Duncan. Any thoughts on it, Ollie? Any difference to that?
Yeah, to be honest, I actually don't think Duncan will get many minutes. I think he'll pretty much stick with what he has been doing, and Oladipo will kind of fill the hero role. I just think it seems like the trust is waning between Spoelstra and Robinson. So yeah, I maybe don't think we'll see too many Duncan minutes, if any.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way it will go. I haven't really seen much. I don't know whether there has been anything on the Celtics injury report, but if Williams is back, obviously that will make Bam's night a bit harder. But do you think that's maybe key here, Bilal, that Bam's got a job to do, whoever he's up against, and obviously if Williams is back, it's gonna, he's got to find a way against a very good elite defensive player.
Yeah, obviously it will impact Bam's offensive game, but we've seen Bam do it against a good defensive team in Boston last game. It wasn't some regular season game against Detroit. It was Eastern Conference Finals on the road against Boston. We've seen him do it in Game 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think he can find a way. We don't need him to get 30, 31 and 10, but some production more than his 8 points per game in the series would be obviously beneficial for us to our W.
Yep, definitely. Ollie, just before we come to some predictions, another big reason why the Heat won last game out, obviously down to their own play, of course, and how offensively sharp they were. But Jason Tatum, 10 points. Now he had an off night. He was a non-factor really in the whole game. He never really, wasn't even a single point there where you looked like he was going to maybe step up, take over. Back-to-back buckets didn't even happen. Is that going to happen again? As much as the Heat restricted him, you're not going to expect maybe another game like that. He's going to make there's going to be a bounce back game to expect here from Tatum, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, because he is a superstar. Ultimately, he is one of the best players in the league. I saw someone's opinion on Twitter the other day that he is maybe just like a Paul George kind of player, and in a sense that in the play, he's shown it in the past. Obviously, he does have loads of different facets to his offensive game, but there are times where if his jump shot isn't falling, that his confidence goes. He hasn't got an awful lot of confidence attacking, taking it off the dribble, and you saw that last game when the Heat were so disruptive to him with the turnovers and with the forced errors that he had and the poor shooting. When that's taken away, then maybe his impact does kind of reduce a little bit. But as you said, he's still a star. He's still their best player, no doubt about that. So, yeah, I'm expecting a big night from him. But hopefully with Jimmy back, he can counter that. We haven't really seen a big Jimmy night yet in this series. So hopefully we can get one of those tonight as well.
Yeah, the injury report will be interesting. I fully expect all of the questionables to be playing, just like I expect all of the Boston questionables to be playing. So the teams are almost at full strength, really. Not much, as we know, Hero is missing. But it is all set up to be a huge game. The pressure massively off for the Heat in the fact that they took that third game to go 2-up, because if you lose that, this really becomes win or bust, because then you need all three. So I think it's going to be brutal tonight. I think it could go down to last possessions, overtime side of game. Boston will need this. That might sort of run into their DNA a little bit, that they think that it gets in their heads if they go down. They realise that season is on the line. The predictions here are going to be interesting. I'm going to start with you, Bilal.
Before I get to the predictions, can we just mention about the palaver that went on when Marcus Smart went injured and the media propaganda was in the back, riling him up, and the fans came out, and then Jason Tatum tried to do the same thing, and we still won.
Man, I mean, to be honest, when I saw that injury, obviously they always look horrific with Smart. Bit of Lowry weight on him as well, which didn't help, and the screaming that was coming. I thought the series is done for him. You know, it was almost like you was expecting it to be. There's now going to be an operation. There's going to be a procedure. It was, and for him to just walk out 4 minutes later, you just think, wow. I mean, I know, look, you know, you can strap it up and all the rest of it, but it was incredible. It was incredible, and yeah, as you said, despite Tatum going down, to still get over the line with no Jimmy Butler for all of the second half, man. Best win of the season, without doubt, in the TD Garden. Let's get your thoughts on tonight, Bilal. How do you see it going down?
So I hope I am wrong, but I do go for a Boston win tonight. I just feel like there's so little between the two teams, and it's just going to go back and forth. Hopefully, in the end, we win, but I'm going for Boston win tonight. Hopefully, I'm wrong.
Perhaps, yeah. Head over heart. Ollie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm kind of on the same line. I think if you'd have offered, when we went 1-1 the first two games, if you'd have offered us 1-1 in their place to come back home at 2-2 all level, I probably would have taken it. So yeah, I think Boston will respond tonight. But I think for the greater series, I think if Boston win tonight, then it goes to 7. If the Heat win tonight, then it's Heat in 5. I think if the Heat win tonight, then we win it at our place in Game 5. But yeah, like I said, I think if Boston win it tonight, it might go to 7. So yeah, I'm not expecting a win, but as Bilal said, I hope I'm wrong.
Well, what has happened? What has happened to this crew? Look, totally fair enough. I've been going backwards and forwards on this, but you know what, guys? I think the Heat are going to win tonight. I think we're going to do it. I think the reason why is I just think that if we get off to another fast start, now I'm not expecting another 26-point lead after 8 minutes or whatever it was. But I just think if we can get a little lead, even if we go into the break into the third quarter, or even if it's just by like 2 possessions, I just think that every possession that Boston then have in their hands, it gets more and more to their nerves. The Garden gets more and more tense. Every defensive possession, we rise with it. This is what Heat culture is. This is the sort of days that PJ Tucker lives for, Lowry lives for, Bam lives for, Butler. I think if we can stay all healthy and on court, I think we're going to win tonight. I think it's going to be a 1 possession win.
No, but that's where I went. That's where I was going to say the reason why maybe I am leaning towards Boston, because Jimmy, I don't know what he's going to look like with coming back from knee inflammation. He won't have the same bounce. He won't have the same lift. He might take a bit of caution. So that's where I'm coming from, alluding to your point regarding health.
I'm gonna be honest. That rousing speech, it's gonna be Heat by 30 now. Change my mind. Motivational speaker Dan, Heat by 30.
There you go. This is good. Yeah, this is good. So yeah, Jade is with us. Smir. Sorry, thank you for joining us, Jade. I'm sorry, Celtics winning the season. Get out here. The series. Thanks for joining. Anyway, guys, it's going to be a great game. I think this is going to be, it's season on the line time really for the Celtics, because if they don't win tonight, it's game over. It could be Heat in 5. Literally, could be Heat in 5, and it should be Heat in 5. So yeah, it's going to be brutal tonight. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think the Heat have got it. 1:30, of course, was 2:30 for me last time round in Germany. I'm now back in the UK, so 1:30 a.m. tip. Follow us as always, please, at the Miami Heat UK. We will be there for in-game comms. Follow us and subscribe to Miami Heat UK TV. It's great to be back. We will be back next time, hopefully celebrating a 3-1 win. But even if it goes 2-2, we're back in the Heat house. We've got this, guys. Don't worry. Enjoy the game tonight, guys. Take it easy.